Last Friday, I went to an absolutely incredible concert by the Italian pianist Ludovico Einaudi. If you don't know him, he's a prolific artist, having released over 20 albums since the early 1980s, becoming internationally known for his emotive, cinematic, atmospheric, contemporary music compositions that often incorporate various different styles. At this concert, he performed alongside a group of musicians playing the violin, accordion, bass guitar, and various percussion instruments. I've listened to Ludovico for a number of years, and his music is generally very introspective, so I wasn't really sure how it would translate to a live performance, but honestly, it completely blew me away. He performed in a beautiful amphitheater to an enraptured, sold-out crowd of around 5,000 people, accompanied by an impressive light show to add to the unique and special atmosphere. The maestro's track selection mixed up slow-building solo pieces with intense, higher-tempo, driving compositions with his accompanying ensemble, which had the whole crowd nodding in appreciation. I sometimes think it's a bit of a cliche when people describe music as touching their soul, but for this night, that kind of description feels particularly fitting. In fact, I'd go further to say Ludovico Einaudi's music and musicianship made me feel like I was touching his soul, that he was laying his heart out on the stage, and we were all invited to peer into it and feel his emotions and recognize them in ourselves. It was a genuinely elevating experience, and I consider myself extremely lucky and blessed to have seen him in concert, and would highly recommend anyone take advantage of the opportunity if you get the chance to see him live. And the whole experience got me thinking about the importance of artistic expression. Now, I'm not talking to the people who identify themselves as artists and musicians, those making a living from creative endeavors, but rather to people like me who don't identify as creatives, those who may have once dabbled in the arts, whether it was music, painting, or poetry, but for whatever reason have left that creativity dormant, or perhaps felt that your life is too busy, serious, or you have too many responsibilities to spend your time on self-indulgent artistic expression. Because I know a lot of people would say they're not artistic or creative, who'd say, I wouldn't know where to start. People who think artists are only those ultra-talented individuals who paint masterpieces, or are successful award-winning musicians with skills that are reserved for only the most gifted humans in the world. But what if we flipped that idea and considered artistic expression to be a basic human need, a way to make sense of the world? That creativity is not a luxury only reserved for people with degrees, studios, or large followings. That we as humans actually need to have creative outlets and give ourselves the opportunity and space to express ourselves artistically in order to be fully human. The American writer Kurt Vonnegut said, to practice any art, no matter how well or badly, is a way to make your soul grow. And maybe that's the point, that it's not about the applause, that it's not even about the outcome, but in fact that artistic expression is fundamentally about the human growth we experience in the process of being creative. Because a lot of people can remember being creative earlier in their lives. They haven't forgotten the feelings and emotions they felt when expressing themselves artistically. It's just that it got conditioned out of them. Picasso said, every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist once we grow up. Another problem is when you were at school and studying art, and some students got praised for getting it right and others got corrected for getting it wrong. When you got taught that art had to be impressive and beautiful to be appreciated, and unfortunately that it's a subject that you can fail. So for a lot of people who struggle to express their creativity, they'd simply walk away from it and lock their individual artistic talent away, maybe for fear of being judged, or even worse, thinking they were no longer artistically inclined. And that belief probably stops more people than lack of time or resources ever would. And I can relate to that predicament because at school I never considered myself artistic. I just thought I hadn't inherited creative genes. I believed I couldn't paint or design, and at the time wasn't drawn to poetry or creative writing. The only art that brought me joy was music. But even then I didn't think I was particularly good at it. I was taught the piano for a number of years as a kid, but didn't enjoy the rigidity of lessons and playing music that I didn't really like. I think you're very lucky if in earlier life you have teachers that inspire you to pursue the arts and who persevere with students who maybe take time to find their creative groove. In my teenage years, I would start singing with a band, which I really loved, performing on stage and finally playing music I liked. And in my late adolescence, I'd develop a passion for electronic dance music and, like many of my friends, would buy vinyl turntables and became an avid bedroom DJ, whiling away hours mixing records on my Technics SL1200 Mark IIs, getting into flow states, blending pulsating up-tempo techno and house tracks from the clubs of Detroit, Chicago, New York, London, Paris, Brussels, and Berlin. It felt like an escape from reality, disappearing into electronic soundscapes of endless beats, bass, and sonic symphonies. In my young adult years, I also uncovered a passion for slam poetry, a competitive form of spoken word performance judged by an audience where poets deliver their own original work, blending writing, performing, and competition for an energetic, interactive, and fun night out. I'd really enjoy the adrenaline rush of being on stage and having to work a crowd with my wordplay and delivery. And reflecting on these creative pursuits makes me really appreciate the benefits I received from them and realize that they weren't actually an escape from reality at all, but a way to process it, a way of making sense of the world and dealing with my own emotional response to it. When I write poetry, I organize my thoughts and find new and creative ways to articulate myself. When I perform, I release insecurities and take control of my anxiety. And when I'm making a mixtape and losing myself in music, I regulate my nervous system and find beauty in my own creations. Note that I'm not making any statement about the quality of anything I produce, rather just describing the very tangible benefits of engaging in the creative process. Creativity gives the mind space to breathe. It's cathartic, liberating, and healing. The Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung put it succinctly when he said, "The creation of something new is not accomplished by the intellect, but by the play instinct," which is demonstrated in practice through things like art therapy, which combines art making and psychotherapy to help people explore emotions and manage stress through non-verbal artistic expression. Expressing yourself creatively also helps you connect with your inner world and listen, recognize, and appreciate your inner voice, the voice that doesn't want you to see the world at surface level, at face value, the one that wants you to look deeper and find meaning in life. And that dialogue with yourself can strengthen your sense of identity, improve resilience, build confidence, and help you make more sense of the external world. It can also help you to be more patient, especially with yourself. Every creative act involves uncertainty. You try, you might fail, but you adjust and try again, which can build adaptability and thus emotional intelligence. The more you think about it, the more you realize that creativity isn't just an optional pastime. It's fundamentally an essential part of being human and can literally help anyone at any age improve their life and well-being. And you don't even have to be technically good at whatever creative pursuit you try. Taste is the most subjective thing. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. We all like different things. What resonates with me at an emotional level may be completely different for you. For example, you don't have to label the genres of music you like. If it does something for you, who cares if it's classical, country, or death metal? Creativity is not about quality, it's about honesty. The American writer Anne Lamott put it plainly when she said, "Perfectionism is the voice of the oppressor." And I agree. Perfection kills expression. If you wait until you think you're good enough, you'll never start. You just need to be willing to give it a go. In other words, you just need to start, because that's how everything begins. If, like a lot of people, especially busy professional adults, you've been disconnected from your creative side for some time, why not just start small? No pressure, no deadlines. Just try getting out a notebook and writing one page of your thoughts without editing. Sketch some drawings without erasing anything. Get out that guitar and play whatever you feel like, or try taking photos of things you see every day, but from a new and different perspective. You don't even have to dedicate hours of your free time to artistic expression. Just spend some of that time you'd otherwise be on your phone scrolling to intentionally be creative. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Consistency is the key. Honestly, it matters more than intensity. And don't feel like you have to share your art either. That you have to post it on social media and seek validation from friends and family. If you feel like it, just keep it to yourself and only share when you're ready to. Ultimately, you're creating for yourself, for your own growth. You don't need to compare yourself or your art to anything or anyone. Comparison is one of the greatest enemies of creativity, and social media amplifies it. You'll only ever see people's highly polished final pieces of art, never the messy process of getting there. Every artist you admire once made work they'd probably never show today. And what's worse nowadays is AI-produced art, because it's seemingly perfect, flawless, impeccable, and complete. It can mimic any style or combination of styles, and it can generate any amount of musical or artistic output in mere moments. But in my opinion, that's the very problem with AI art. It's too perfect. It doesn't have imperfections, nuance, and it doesn't carry the weight of lived human experience. It isn't produced by a person who suffered, felt pain, grieved, hoped, loved, and expressed their heart and soul through their art. Human-made art will always matter more than machine-generated art because it holds memory, struggle, culture, and context. When a human creates art, they leave a trace of their inner life for us to experience. That's what resonates, what moves us, and what makes us feel connected to it. That's what I felt when I listened to Ludovico Einaudi in concert. I felt connected to his story, his artistry, his truth, and his humanity. It wasn't just music, it meant so much more. So supporting human artists now is more important than ever. It's cultural preservation, yes, but it's also appreciating human creativity, recognizing nuance, diversity, and protecting authentic emotional truth and humanity that machines may imitate, but never replace. So I'll leave you with a question. If you had the time, no pressure, no audience, no restrictions, how would you express yourself artistically if you gave yourself permission, freedom, and space to just be yourself creatively? And on that note, I'll finish there for today. I'd like to thank you very much for watching and wish you all a very happy new year. As usual, feel free to share the video, comment, like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you again soon.